Hi there. I'm Nadira Jamal, hostess of the Belly Dance Geek Clubhouse online radio show, and welcome to this special interview series with some of the instructors from the 2015 Las Vegas Belly Dance Intensive. The intensive, now in its final year, will be held September 10th through 13th at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. To make sure that you don't miss out on this epic event, visit bellydanceintensive.com. My guest today is Tabu. Tabu is Inara, Raven, and Hrujet. Formed in 2007, this experimental fusion troupe combined their unique style and dance experiences in Oriental, folkloric, Indian, urban, improvisational tribal style, and their trademark robot zombie funk to create edgy, innovative choreographies. You can check them out at Tabu Las Vegas, spelled Tabu. Thanks so much for joining me, ladies.
Well, thank you for having us.
Can you tell us a little bit about the workshop that you're going to be teaching at the intensive?
We're going to be teaching an Indian fusion workshop, and it's going to include a little bit of choreography just to get people started on dipping their toe in Indian fusion dance.
And can you tell us a little bit more about what you're going to cover during this piece?
Let's see. Let's look at our...
Yeah, well, the name of it is Enchant the Dance, and it's about fusing Indian styles. We're really interested in the more classical Indian styles like Odissi dance. So we're going to be using a lot of our background in particularly Odissi and to fuse it into regular belly dance. We're going to have some combinations and a little short choreography for them.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. And, one thing that I always find interesting about fusion is that there's no single way to approach it. Every fusion artist has a different sense of what to take from each genre and how to blend them together. Can you tell us a little bit about your way of handling that?
Well, I think it's really important for any student to understand what they're doing and where that dance comes from, what the history of it is. And so we put a big emphasis on differentiating between the belly dance fusion and the Indian aspects. And so we want our students to really have a good idea of the difference between the two and where they're coming from, so that they understand the dance languages that they're manipulating and fusing.
Mm-hmm. And why is it beneficial for belly dancers specifically to start learning more about Indian dance?
Well, it's beautiful and expressive, and there's so much that a dancer, belly dancer, Oriental dancer can benefit from learning Indian dance because of the emphasis on things that perhaps belly dance doesn't emphasize as much, like hand and eye and head movements and other postures.
Absolutely. I was literally in a Persian dance workshop today, and that was most of what I took away was, wow, I never think about this piece.
Right.
I move my hands, but I don't necessarily link my hands and my eyes and my pose all as a single coherent whole. And in fact, a lot of what she included reminded me a little bit of some Indian dance that I'd seen. So that's definitely a nice way to add loveliness.
Exactly.
It's a great way to express yourself, even just with subtle eye movements and hand movements. It's so beautiful. And a lot of the Indian dances that we're influenced by had a lot of storytelling components behind it. And so I think it's a great way to also be able to express yourself elegantly in the dance, but also with the music and the choreography and putting Indian into the belly dance so that you've got a little bit of both to work with. So you can choose your moments and how you want to express yourself within a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you get interested in Indian dance specifically?
Well, I for me personally, it had to do with Kalina Shakti. I think we'd seen her probably for the first time around 2007, 2008 at Tribal Fest, and just really fell in love with her style of dancing and teaching. We've been taking as many workshops and classes as we can with her over the years. And I really appreciate the approach to teaching that she does, because she does talk about fusing the Indian dance with the belly dance responsibly, and not just throwing in a mudra here and there if you don't understand what it means, or you're not trying to communicate it within your story, to really understand what you're doing with the dance when you're fusing it. And that's been very, very influential on us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was watching Bollywood movies before I even started belly dancing, so I've always had a fascination with it. I found it to be both alluring and beautiful, but also very exotic and different. It was so different than the Western style dance movements that I was familiar with. So even before I started belly dancing, I just immediately felt a connection with Indian dance and as a general umbrella form. And then when I saw some of the classical dances, discipline, it just, it was captivating.
For me, it would be the gracefulness that I saw on stage when Kalina Shakti was when she performed at Tribal Fest. And I think the challenge of the dance is what interests me with learning it. It's very challenging and very intricate. The moves, there's just so much that you have to put into each move. I mean, even just one mudra, everything has to be engaged, and so it's very challenging.
I agree.
I'd actually like to step back a little bit. And one thing that you mentioned that I think is something we tend to gloss over is you mentioned Indian dance as this larger umbrella. And, India is a huge country with, dozens of languages and all kinds of different local cultures. Can you give us a quick overview of some of the different types of Indian dance that are out there and what some of the distinctions are?
Absolutely. I mean, and it's by no means exhaustive. Like you said, there are so many different styles, and I think we'll probably, we'll never run out of things to study and to learn in wanting to learn Indian dance. But classical Indian, Kathak style dance, I think is where that's kind of our home base for where we focus our studies. But also the Rajasthani, the Odissi style dances. I think, just that area is enough to keep us busy for a long time. But we've also studied some Indonesian dance with an Indonesian instructor, and which is related but also a little bit different. And it's a big family tree, and I think we would probably spend a lifetime if we were to learn all about the different styles. So students in our class will probably get a smattering of the three basic ones that we've studied.
Excellent. And who would you say that this workshop is the most appropriate for? Are there given styles or levels or personalities that would get more out of it than others?
It would be for the intermediate to advanced dancers of all styles, actually.
Yeah.
Someone with the basic knowledge of the basic belly dance moves.
I think it's important, though, that students understand that this would just be a step on a path to understanding the dance. A dancer or a student shouldn't come in and expecting, to be performance ready after a workshop, or even like being able to say, hey, I know Indian fusion or I know Indian dance, but that it's just one step towards a larger journey.
But we will be giving them some basic combinations and whatnot that they can work on and hopefully expand upon. Hopefully they'll the dancers who may not know Indian dance so much or have not been exposed to it will find an appreciation for it like we do, and an enthusiasm to continue on the journey and learn a little bit more. So we hope to kind of give them that base, to give them some basic information, some basic elements for choreography and fusing, and then hopefully a appreciation for the style.
And a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the nice things about a big festival like this is that, with so many things on offer, you can just take one random workshop and see if you get bitten.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this class is, designed to do, is just kind of give someone a taste and see if it's something that they want to continue to do. Mm-hmm.
And that can be a much safer way to try it than, say, signing up for a 3-month session of Indian dance classes before you know if you even like doing it. Some things are more fun to watch than to do, and some things, 5 minutes into the class, you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah.
That's how we all got here, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right. And is there one tip from your session that you could share with us now so dancers could start trying this out immediately?
Core and posture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If they want to start working on the elements of having a strong core and quad strength and some strong posture, Indian dance, the classical Indian styles have a very strong posture to them.
It's very rigorous.
Yeah. And so that's
on the quads.
Yes. And on the quads.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is there anything in particular you'd recommend for that?
Squats. and lots of stretches on the hips, and particularly the quads, the hip area, to open up, because there's also a little bit of a turnout in the legs. Mm-hmm. So so as not to injure your knees or any other parts. Like, it's important to be loose, and also I would say only go as far as your body is comfortable. Mm-hmm. And then gradually work up to, maybe a little deeper level or a deeper turnout, but to start where it's comfortable. But definitely, work on flexibility in the hips and strength in the quads. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the most helpful.
Well, anybody who's listening to this has several months to get working on this, so they'll be ready for the session.
Exactly.
All right, and what are you three ladies most excited about for this year's intensive?
Well, I have to say this year's intensive is a little bittersweet for us. Tabu's been blessed with being a part of the intensive family for several years, and we've really enjoyed not only teaching workshops and performing, but taking workshops and attending the shows and being part of the festival. And this is, as many people know, this is the last year. Our hostess Samira will be hosting this workshop event, and it's kind of bittersweet. We're excited to be part of it and part of her final year, but it's really kind of sad to see it change and to see her retire. So we're excited, but a little sad too.
Yeah, we've been really blessed to have it in our backyard. So I think just what I'm looking forward to the most is just getting to enjoy all of that, all of the people that we get to see that come back, friends from far away, and the incredible and inspiring performances at the shows, and just all the knowledge that we just soak up over the weekend from the workshops. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to pick just one. It's kind of the whole experience. Yeah. It's exhausting and exhilarating.
Yes, definitely. I think what I'm looking forward to seeing is the caliber of performances, since it is going to be the last year, and what everyone's bringing to this year's intensive as far as the performances, the classes, and pretty much everything else. It's just the whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, ladies.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. If you'd like to learn more from Tabu, you can check them out at Tabu Las Vegas. And once again, that's spelled Tabu. Or better yet, join us at the intensive. This is the last time that this epic event is going to be held, so don't miss out. You can register now at bellydanceintensive.com. And to listen to more interviews with our fabulous instructors, visit bellydancegeek.com/Vegas 2015.